What's going on, YouTube? It's Paul Piper back here with you. And today I'm out at my property once again, sitting by the river in my favorite spot. And just thought I'd make a video. It's been a little while since I've done anything on YouTube. About a month. And just thought that I would get back on here and say hello to everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Southwest Michigan. Temperatures in, I'd say mid to upper 70s, slight breeze, sunny, just really beautiful day. And I'm not smoking my pipe. I did smoke my pipe this morning, and I picked up some Old Joe Krantz. I gotta say the original blend on that by Cornell and Deal. I went to the tobacco shop up in Wyoming, Michigan, Indian River Tobacco Traders, and yesterday the wife and I went to the John Ball Zoo in Grand Rapids. That was the first time we'd ever gone there. Beautiful zoo. If you're in the Grand Rapids area, I would highly suggest you stop by. And if you do it, pay the extra couple bucks to do the bird show. They have a really cool show that features primarily raptors, bald eagle. There's a African, I can't remember the name. It's a red-faced eagle, hawks, and there's a vulture, a bunch of other different birds that they do shows with, and they fly over you. I actually got hit in the face by that African red-faced eagle as it flew just above my head down the aisleway. I was on the end of the aisle, and it swiped me with its feathers, which was kind of cool. It didn't impact the bird's flight at all, or injure me or anything, but pretty neat, pretty neat. So enjoyed that. But then when we were traveling back, stopped by the tobacco shop and picked up Old Joe Krantz, another blend, I can't recall the name of it, and then I picked up some Dunhill Yield Sign, which I've heard a lot of good things about, and I'm excited to do a review on it and try it. Old Joe Krantz, it's good stuff. I will do a review on that coming up here. I like it. It's a good strong blend, and just very, very good. Very good. Well, got a frog. But yeah, today I am dipping once again Copenhagen Southern Blend, one of my favorite everyday dips. It's good stuff. And just sitting here by the river, enjoying it, trying not to get eaten up by mosquitoes. They're not too bad, knock on wood, but man, they're just annoying. So, what are we going to talk about today? Topic of discussion today is political. So, if that bothers you, then sorry about that. But I wanted to talk about my interpretation of Trump's speech in Poland. And I don't know how many of you watched the speech in its entirety, or if you just saw clips from the mainstream media. But it was a great speech, and very symbolic that he went to Poland and delivered that speech prior to going to the G20 meeting in Hamburg, Germany, where a bunch of left-wing riots and all kind of chaos there during the G20 meeting. And another thing to pick up on, which a lot of people in the media have, is that Trump wore his American flag lapel pin and refused to wear the G20 lapel pin, which has a lot of symbolic meaning there as well. And it definitely shows a desire to um, put the interests of America first, um, and not fall into the toxic sludge that is globalism. And that was much of what Trump's speech was in Poland. And Poland is, uh, if you're not aware, currently fighting the European Union, of which they belong, along with a lot of other Central European countries, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Hungary, and Austria, even, to fight the European Union on their uh, quotas for so-called refugee resettlement, which Germany and France and the United Kingdom, pretty much all of Western Europe, has Italy has taken huge numbers in the millions over the last 2 years, and primarily Muslim military-age males, uh, sub-Saharan Africans, uh, basically any combination of people from the third world being resettled into socialist Europe, where they're given all number of uh, welfare benefits and committing all numbers of crimes on their host nations. And the Central and Eastern European countries do not want to be forced into basically national suicide by ever increasing numbers of so-called refugees. And when Trump went there, his speech was very nationalistic in its appeal, something that is pretty much absent from any other Western leader that's in power. And when you think about it, you know, all they want, all that Poland and Slovakia and the Czech Republic and these other countries want, is to be able to maintain their national identity. And we in the West, over the last 50 years, have espoused the benefits of multiculturalism and diversity. And what the end game, the end result, is going to be the exact opposite. If you don't have these nation states with their unique histories and cultural traditions persisting, because you basically blend everybody together all over the world, or at least in the Western world, multiculturalism is a unicultural phenomenon. Uh, Famous quote by Mark Stein, who is one of my favorite political commentators. But then you'll lose that uniqueness. Poland will no longer be Polish. Germany will no longer be German. France will no longer be French. And because you're replacing those people, the actual Poles and Germans and French, with any number of other people. And same can be said for any country in the Western world, United States, Canada. I saw a statistic about Canada, and Canada, I think, is going to be majority foreign born by something like 2050, 2060. So that begs a lot of questions, and especially when you're replacing it with people who don't assimilate, that don't want to assimilate. They want to retain their native culture, religion, specifically with the Muslim immigrants who when they come in, they want to impose Sharia law, which is a very strict uh, uh, Islamic form of Islamic jurisprudence. And it's pretty much just incompatible with Western traditions of individual rights and freedoms. So when Trump went to Poland and spoke about the history and the pride of the Polish people, I mean, you got to think Jan Sobieski defended. He was a Polish leader who defended Europe from the invasion of the Muslims in the 17th century. And the Polish resistance to the Germans in World War II, and the Polish resistance to the Soviets in the 20s. That's something that's not taught in schools, is the history of World War I, the actual motivations and reasons behind it, the end of World War I, and what happened immediately after World War I. Germany was basically completely broken, and their economy was destroyed. But when Lenin and Trotsky won the Russian Revolution, they proceeded to try and spread their sphere of influence and take down the other countries in Eastern Europe, and actually invaded Poland. And there was a great battle in Warsaw, or outside of Warsaw, where the Polish army defeated the Soviet army, and this was, in the 20s. And had the Poles failed, Poland would have fallen. The country at that time had already been half conquered by the Soviets, and Germany was extremely weak at that time and suffering from communist insurrections of its own under Rosa Luxemburg. And Germany probably would have been communists at that time, and the Reds would have spread throughout the rest of Western civilization. But because the Poles stood strong and fought hard, they pushed them back. And that, when you look back over the 20th century, there was over 20 million people killed by the Soviet Union. And that's the largest genocide, murder that happened in probably all of human history, at least recorded history. So, Trump paid homage to Polish sacrifice and a desire to preserve their nation, as they are a proud people. And something that really struck me about his speech was the question of will. Does the West have the will to survive? Does it want to survive? Does it want to take pride in its contributions? And if you look back on history, contributions from the West have been significant, more than probably any other civilization. And there is a lot to be proud of. So I think that is probably the biggest issue, is getting the people of the West to acknowledge their contributions in a positive way and not constantly be focusing on the negative, and to take pride in themselves, defend themselves, to speak up. These are all crucial elements, because without that, it's just going to result in either a cultural genocide or cultural suicide. So I was very encouraged by that speech and that perspective, because at least maybe in the United States we'll be able to wake up and to stop the tide from drowning us. And we have a significant foe. You see these Antifa, which ironically stands for anti-fascist, but they're the most fascist people out there. They scream you down, they attack you physically, verbally, they tear shit up. Those are fascist tactics, but they're communists. I want to say that they're progressives or liberals or socialists, but when it comes down to it, they're good old-fashioned radical communists. And it's been the same foe that has existed in the West for the better part of 170 years. I mean, the United States didn't suffer from it, but Europe did that long ago. But they're still here. And that's probably one of the things that frustrates me the most, is that you'll never hear them described as such. No matter how many banners and flags they carry with the hammer and the sickle, communist flags, communist symbolism, the media, even the alternative media, never characterizes them appropriately as what they are. They're communists. So I think that's part of the awakening that needs to happen. And then you just look over, the motivations of their globalist leaders, many of whom were represented at the G20. Angela Merkel being one of the biggest, Emmanuel Macron of France, the unelected officials and leadership of the European Union, Juncker being the biggest one. These are individuals who are carrying out a set goal, and I encourage you to read up on the Coudenhove-Kalergi Plan, which give you a synopsis of it. Was a plan that was drafted back in the 20s by Count Richard Coudenhove-Kalergi, who was a Austrian. We had mixed nationality, mixed family history within Europe, and then his mother was Japanese. But basically, he drafted a plan whereby Europe would be united, today's European Union, and they would create the State of Israel, and they would import millions of third world peoples into Europe to replace the native populations. So they would destroy all national sovereignty and identity, and replace those native peoples over however long it took, generations, with millions of third world individuals who would be easier to manipulate and control. And it's hard not to see that that's exactly what's happening. And they actually have a award, the Kalergi Award, and the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, is a past recipient of that award, and a couple other European leaders. So that's what we're up against. Hopefully Poland will stand strong, and the rest of the nations in Central Europe and Eastern Europe, and the United States. Hopefully the United States will be able to fend off this destructive globalism and the scourge of modern history, communism, and we can maintain our individual rights, liberties, freedoms, nation states, cultures, and enter into mutually beneficial trade agreements and a new enlightenment of sorts. So check it out. Check out the Trump speech in Poland. Check out the situation between Poland and the European Union. Check out the immigrant or the refugee crisis in Europe. Read about the Coudenhove-Kalergi, that's K-A-L-E-G-I, or no, K-A-L-E-R-G-I. And decide for yourself. So, anyway, get outside, dip some tobacco, smoke your pipe, enjoy this beautiful weather if you have it. And until next time, it's been Paul Piper. Take care.